How will 2020 census data be used? Where there are more people, there are more needs for public services. That's why the census is used by the government to inform funding decisions each year. But that's not all. It's also used by nonprofits to inform services, by businesses to create jobs, and even by students for school projects. Understanding how the population changes helps us shape communities across the country for the better. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
How does the 2020 census affect representation? There are 435 seats in the House of Representatives. These get distributed to the 50 states by population, and an accurate census response helps your state get the right amount of seats. States with smaller populations get at least one, while states with larger populations might get more. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
This episode of the Grand Rising Show was brought to you by Autochthonous Assembly, where the real work gets done. Autochthonous Assembly is a gathering of the minds that do the work. Now, for many of our first-time subscribers and first-time visitors, you may be wondering who Autochthonous Assembly are. You can find this information about our mission statement and our core values on the website at autochthonousassembly.com/about. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising up Indigenous American voices by using genealogy, also known as family history, or your family tree, which is the study of families and the tracing of their lineages and history. Genealogists use oral interviews, historical records, genetic analysis, and other records to obtain information about a family and to demonstrate kinship and pedigrees of its members. Our core values are the foundation of our company, which is essential to our success and serve as a lens through which we evaluate every business decision. Those core values are, but are not limited to, integrity, which is knowing and doing what is right. Respect, which is treating others the way you want to be treated. Responsibility, which is embracing opportunities to contribute. And servant leadership, which is serving the common good. Now at Autochthonous Assembly, we have a couple of goals here. And our first goal and foremost of the reason why we do everything that we do is to ensure that we help you do your genealogy and connect back to your tribe and find out where you are from. Everything that we do from the standpoint of the Grand Rising Show and all the information that's posted on the website is dedicated to that one specific purpose, helping you find your genealogy, find your relatives, find your family so that you will know exactly who you are. And if you choose to, tie back into your tribe, whether that tribe is a Native American tribe, an American Indian tribe, whether it's allowing you to determine which house in Africa that you belong to, or what clan of Scandinavia or Europe or France that you belong to. Either way, our goal is to do just that, help you find out who you are so you know exactly where to start. We are not here to tell you who you are, and we're not here to tell you who you are not. We're just here to help you discover your beginnings. Another one of our missions is to help you become financially independent so that you can help your generations for the next 7 generations and be able to put a stable foundation for you and your relatives. And if you should choose to use this information that we provide free of charge to help not only yourself, but your community and your tribe, then we will do everything in our power to make sure that gets done as well. And remember, our goal here is to make sure that we help you get exposed to this information to put you in the best situation possible. So now what I'm going to do now is return it back over to the panel to see if there was anything I missed, and I will go ahead and get set up so we can get ready and get digging into this information. Panel, take it away.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.
How will 2020 census data be used? Where there are more people, there are more needs for public services. That's why the census is used by the government to inform funding decisions each year. But that's not all. It's also used by nonprofits to inform services, by businesses to create jobs, and even by students for school projects. Understanding how the population changes helps us shape communities across the country for the better. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
How does the 2020 census affect representation? There are 435 seats in the House of Representatives. These get distributed to the 50 states by population, and an accurate census response helps your state get the right amount of seats. States with smaller populations get at least one, while states with larger populations might get more. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising. Peace, peace, peace. Hope all is well with everyone.
Grand Rising, everyone.
So how was your night, Gabrielle? Waiting on no sellout to get in.
It was good. It was good. I said it before and I say it again. Reading is fundamental. I got to get me a reading pillow, a neck reading pillow, though.
Just going through the weekends going through the emails this weekend, catching them all up.
Okay.
Should be finished with them by Tuesday. Have them all caught up.
That's what's up.
Well, other than that, came across anything interesting?
Man, yeah, I came across a couple of things interesting. You can't read enough and you can't discover enough. Even if you've read something before, rereading on something, whether it's migration, whether it's wars, whatever the case may be, you can never read enough, especially through new eyes, if that makes sense. Perspectives change, thoughts change, understandings change. You can never read enough. And it all leads to, what are we doing now? What are we doing now? How are we changing? How are we applying it now?
I agree correctly, 100% with that. Pull chat up real quick, get this rising shout out so we can get into this information, and hopefully it can help someone again this rising.
Absolutely.
Grand Rising to Big Nelsa, Big Nelsa, Brandon 3, Celestial Love, Michael Brown Harris Cheek, Mr. TJ, Phoenix Rose, Powerton 9. Let me check the other one, see if I missed anyone. And Tiny Ofo. Grand Rising, everyone. I'll catch everyone else as they come in. In this rising, we'll be breaking down the opportunity zones. Basically what it is, how it's funded, and how it can be accessed. Give me 1 second and I'll put it in all three chats. Okay, there we go. It's available in all three chats. I guess whenever you're ready, we can start.
Okay. Opportunity zones, frequently asked questions. Qualified opportunity zones were created by 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. These zones are designed to spur economic development and job creation in distressed communities throughout the country and U.S. Possessions by providing tax benefit to investors who invest eligible capital into these communities. Taxpayers may defer tax on eligible capital gains by making an appropriate investment in a qualified opportunity fund and meeting other requirements. Opportunity zones. Oh, okay. So it just goes into the questions and answers. Okay. Opportunity zones, general information. What is an opportunity zone? An opportunity zone is an economically distressed community where new investments under certain conditions may be eligible for preferential tax treatment. Localities qualify as opportunity zones if you have been nominated for that designation by the state and that nomination has been certified by the Secretary of the U.S. Treasury via his delegation of authority to the Internal Revenue Service. How were opportunity zones created? Opportunity zones were added to the tax code by the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act on December 22nd, 2017.
Sound like some old programs.
Yeah, and it's interesting how this happened. This is after the fiscal year ends and the beginning of the next fiscal year, right?
Yep.
Okay. How opportunity zones have been around for a long time. Oh, have opportunity zones been around for a long time? No, they are new. The first set of opportunity zones covering parts of 18 states were designated on April 9th, 2018. Opportunity zones have now been designated covering parts of all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and 5 U.S. territories.
I wonder where they got the numbers from to come up with these opportunity zones.
Census. What is the purpose of opportunity zones? Okay. Opportunity zones are an economic development tool they are designed to spur economic development and job creation in distressed communities. I wonder why they keep calling them distressed communities.
That's them keywords again, like blight, urban.
Yep. How do opportunity zones spur economic development? Opportunity zones are designed to spur economic development by providing tax benefits to investors. First, investors can defer tax on any prior gains invested in a qualified opportunity fund, QOF, until the earlier of the date on which the investment in a QOF is sold or exchanged. On December 31st, I need to read that. First, investors can defer tax on any prior gains invested in a qualified opportunity fund, QOF, until the earlier of the date on which the investment in a QOF is sold or exchanged, or December 31st, 2026. So this is deferment that can go all the way to 2026?
Bingo.
If the QOF, Qualified Opportunity Fund, investment is held for longer than 5 years, there is a 10% exclusion of the deferred gain. If held more than 7 years, the 10% becomes 15%. Second, if the investor holds the investment in the opportunity fund for at least 10 years, the investor is eligible for an increase in basis of the QOF investment equal to its fair market value on the date that the QOF investment is sold or exchanged. Break that down, because if I'm understanding.
No, go ahead. What was you saying?
This is this like getting a refund for putting?
By investing your money into these areas, yeah, you get a return on your investment.
Right.
Letting you know how long you hold it. If you hold it for the full value, you can get fair market value of it. Again, another mechanism on how you can generate money by investing in your community. Because we know already other entities and organizations are going to do it for their benefit.
Right.
Again, what happens when we do it for our own benefit? We don't take advantage of each other. We invest in our communities and our neighborhoods for the betterment of the community.
Right.
Again, it's using the same mechanisms that's designed that some choose to use against you, just making a choice to use it for yourself. Somebody's going to use it. Either it's going to be you for your benefit or somebody else for their benefit.
Right.
You know? Grand Rising, no sellout. We're live. Glad you're joining us.
We are live, double cousin.
I ain't hear nothing. Man, guess what? No, I'm joking.
I'm about to say we live for real. For real, we live. Wait a minute.
No, for real. The president listening.
No joke. I'm trying to get the smile and the laugh away, but for real, we live. We live.
No,
we live.
I got you. No, I ain't crazy now, and you ain't being timid with the information that you're giving me. So, all right, I believe you.
Just breaking down these opportunity zones.
Ooh, opportunity zones?
Mm-hmm.
What? Okay, I'm going on mute. That sounds like opportunity to me.
I got questions and answers if you want to ask questions.
Your link's in the chat and it's in the back chat.
I'm about to click them up right now. Grand Rising, peace to the chat. Where we at?
Yeah, we just start in the designated qualified opportunity zones.
Word. Frequently asked questions, man. I love frequently asked questions. You get your question answered. And if you don't, they probably give you contact information.
Yeah.
You know it.
All right, I'm with you. I got the link up. I'm ready for y'all. Y'all probably already started. I'm sorry.
Okay, we're on designated qualified opportunity zones. The first question.
Gotcha. Well, you want me to ask them and you answer?
Yeah, sure.
All right. What? Designated. Okay, designated. Designated qualified opportunity zones. Mic check.
1 2 1 2.
Do I need to live in an opportunity zone to take advantage of the tax benefits?
No, you can get the tax benefits even if you don't live, work, or have a business in an opportunity. Wait a minute. No.
Rewind.
Ask the question again. Ask the question.
Yeah. Because I thought I asked it wrong the way you reading it. Do I need to live in an opportunity zone to take advantage of the tax benefits?
No. You can get the tax benefits even if you don't live, work, or have a business in an opportunity zone. All you need to do is invest a recognized gain in a qualified opportunity fund and elect to defer the tax on that gain.
So
I'm gonna read that answer again.
Just find an opportunity zone, invest in it. It makes a gain, and you can defer the taxes on said gain.
Till 2020, up to 2026.
Yep.
That's 6 years from now, right? We in 2020?
Short-term tax exemption.
Okay. Okay.
Indians not to be taxed. I guess you can just be tax exempt, right? Okay. Am I moving on to the next
Go
one?
ahead to the next question.
I'm just saying, I keep hearing this. It's not to be tax mess. All right. I got another question, Gabrielle.
Okay.
And it might not be directed at you, but I'm gonna ask you, and hopefully you can answer it or find the answer for me. I am interested in knowing where the opportunity zones are located. Is there a list of opportunity zones available?
Yes. The list of designated qualified opportunity zones can be found in IRS notices 2018 through 48 PDF and 2019 through 42 PDF. Further, a visual map of the census tracts designated as qualified opportunity zones may also be found at Opportunity Zones Resources.
Hold on. You say census?
The census came up in that one. Why are they talking about the census, man?
A visual map.
Also, you can see it.
Mm-hmm. It got hot links. It's 3 hot links.
Colors and pictures and things like that. Do you notice this is a program from the IRS? Just wanted to state that.
Mm-hmm. People don't like the IRS.
Just in case that was missing. Hey, when you minding your business, they your best friend. You better believe it. They love you. They love you.
Man, oh man, they got to rewind. Look, they're gonna have to rewind the tape on that one. I'm not gonna ask you to repeat it. I done heard that numerous times. Man, I'm gonna ask the next question.
Hold on.
Huh? Oh, you clicking links, ain't you? I knew it. She clicking links.
Clicktastic.
2018-48 PDF and a 2019-42.
I already clicked the PDFs.
Oh, you know those already
It's a
downloaded.
one page. Yeah, it's a one page PDF, but
The Opportunity Zone Resources.
Yeah.
And hopefully the PDF page should be up on the website by 2 p.m. today.
Ooh,
basically be all the PDFs that been collected all through all the episodes of last year and this year's and up to date and moving forward will all be available on a downloadable page.
Oh my goodness.
That sounds like
This
learning
is the best
material to me.
show. Listen, okay.
On the back now, don't be rude.
Okay, my bad. Best chats, best panel, best show. I'm just saying. Okay, look. So I clicked on a hot link for Opportunity Zone Resources, and it took me to a website that says United States Department of Treasury, Community Development Financial Institutions Fund.
CDFI Fund.
What was that again? Let me appeal.
United States Department of Treasury, Community Development Financial Institutions Fund.
So you got CDBGs and CDFIs. What is going on?
And this link is a government website that has a lot of hot links on it.
.gov. It's a .gov.
Yep.
You actually get to download the designated list.
Yeah.
List of designated qualified opportunity zones. Hot link. Oh, it downloaded quick. It's like it was already there.
And they have also a programs and training tab to click on.
Nah, man, they train you too.
Yeah, along with certifications.
If you don't want to read it, go further down and click the map out link.
Oh.
Man, this list is long. How many Californias is it? Because I see it listed a lot. Florida, a lot. Man, okay, I'm trying to get to the V's for VA. This is ridiculous. Who's at the bottom of the list? A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, I got it.
You silly. Whoa.
These links is hot. These links is hot. I'm just trying to see the opportunity zones in my area. I'm sorry, I'm tangenting like Gabrielle here.
Okay, so I got some homework to do. I get that, and I'm okay with it.
Leave it to the side.
This ties in with, the numbers I was getting together for. You know what?
Mm-hmm. Thingamajigs.
Mm-hmm. That BP, not blood pressure.
Well, because I was I was telling Bones what I was getting together for the lady I spoke with for the community block grant. And all I'm gonna say is this. Nope, this ain't all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, let the community know how that went. How did that go? If you don't mind sharing.
Good. Okay. Yeah. So talking with the lady, I filled out my application, put it in, sat down. I got another appointment that they're gonna call me back for. But she let me know, like, hey, when you put in for this funding, for your continued education, what you're going for, because the continued education is dealing with herbalists, aromatherapy, and all that, but it all ties into the community garden. For me, it's just going to be where it's the community garden, the farm, but it all ties in together. So we're growing the things, we're learning, how to create our own essential oils. You get the, having the equipment, growing, creating our own essential. It just creates jobs. It's a whole where everything ties in. But she said, hey, look, make sure that you factor in what it will cost you for your light bill, for your household expenses. So light bill, water bill, groceries. Calculate that in too, because what you ask for, it's one thing to say, hey, I'm going for funding for continued education. But if you're just doing this, if you're not working and you want to just be focused on schooling, put in the numbers that it's going to take to cover your household expenses to relieve that stress, so you can just focus on your studies and getting your certifications for your continued education. So yeah, you need to include, if your light bill is $200 a month and it's going to take you whatever extended education you're going for, say it's going to take you 10 months, calculate, from now until 10 months from now, what your light bill is every month. What if your water bill is $100 a month? Now, if it takes 10 months, if the program, the education that you're going for is 10 months, calculate, okay, my light bill is, $100 a month for the next 10 months. I just want to focus on studies. So, okay, it's going to be $1,200 for my water. It's going to be $2,000 for my light bill. That's also included for what you're asking for your continued education. Just saying. And this is told to me by a woman who works in the HUD department over the CDB block grant.
Again, I mean, it only makes sense. Why shortchange yourself?
Right.
And again, shout out for Doodoo Vision.
Yes.
For saying that from the beginning, is that when you do this, you have to be realistic. Our biggest problem is that we be in a rush trying to get the funding so much that we underbid ourselves and put ourselves in a situation where we can't succeed before we even get started.
Right.
So yes, you're correct. I mean, you have to sit down and you have to weigh out. If it's going to take you 9 months and they're giving you funding, yeah, you want to but be realistic. Don't use it to take advantage of it. Don't be getting extra money just to be doing stuff because that's the problem. That's the problem that goes on now. Actually access it and use it, because what you're able to generate down the line is way more greater than any petty materialistic thing you can gain now. This is the ability to put ourselves on that road to self-sufficiency, leading up to generational wealth.
Right. And I mean, it was really interesting, because you think when I was talking with her, I was like, okay, this is what I'm going. But then I started thinking, she said, if you need books, supplies, whatever it is, you know what I mean? You want to put that in, because we want to help you get to where you want to go. We want to make sure that we've done our part to make sure you obtain your goals. That's what this is for. So I even factored in, because one of the schools that I'm putting in for to cover the education, they tell you what supplies in advance. Okay, these are the materials you need. These are the supplies and equipment you need. So it even covers that. And they give you the website to go to, what it's going to cost and everything. So I've been tallying up my list and, specifically, like, this is what I need. This is what it costs. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said I need that website.
Okay.
Whenever you finish. Later on, I mean.
Okay. Not a problem.
Proof is not a problem.
Not a problem. And I mean, I was nervous because I'm like, just for the classes that I want to take for this certification equals out to $5,000. So I was like, dang. She's like, don't worry about that. Because that to me, you know, that's like asking for a loan, if that makes sense. So it's also changing my way of thinking too.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for a handout. I'm asking for help, if that makes sense. So it's actually been kind of like a humbling.
Ain't that what you're supposed to do for the road to self-sufficiency?
This is true. This is true. Bones has said it plenty of times. No one's gotten anywhere. No one gets anywhere by themselves.
I mean, it's true. Anybody who telling you that they did it on their own, I mean, excuse my language, but it's a lie.
Yeah.
No one does anything in life alone. Even if you think that you did it by yourself, somewhere along that journey, someone did something that helped you get there.
Facts.
Whether it was negative or positive.
Symbiotic relationship. Yo, stop playing.
Yeah, and the thing that's got me feeling one of the things that had me feeling less nervous is to know that, okay, the funding that I'm asking for, not only I'm not paying it back financially, but I am paying it back because the end goal, and I mean, one of the schoolings, they help you set up your business specific under the requirements that the USDA and HUD and all that. So instead of paying out of my pocket, I'll still be paying back to the community, if that makes sense. So it's like, oh, okay, so I don't have to crunch to figure out how I'm gonna pay this money back. I'm gonna pay it back by putting this business in the community that'll benefit the community.
Exactly. So by benefiting yourself, you're benefiting your community at the same time.
Yep. I definitely feel better about getting educated, re-educated.
Yeah, opening up people to information and doors that they probably wasn't informed about, and allowing people to open up new doors.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, my bad. Tangent. Let me go back to the.
Hey, we needed that tangent.
No. I'm saying tangent because I'm three. Nope. I'm back to. I was 3 windows out. We're on the second. Third question. Okay. Like I said, just whether it's community block grant, HUD, USDA, whatever it is, the more questions I ask and the more conversations I have with people who are in these departments, it's amazing, but at the same time, it's reassuring. Like, I can do this. Oh, I can do this.
Mm-hmm. Grand rising to that boy wig.
That is my future. That is our future.
That is my money. I will do great things.
I told you about that joke. What's his name said? He said, "Remember when you were younger? Remember when they said, you are the future?"
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
What happened?
What happened?
Serious question. What happened? You were the future, yo. Your past future is today, though. So let's highlight it. Let's go.
Okay.
I got a question, Gabrielle.
Okay.
What do the numbers mean on the qualified opportunity zones list? Notice 2018-48. Man, we just looked at that link. Keep going.
Yes, we did. The numbers are the population census tracts designated as qualified opportunity zones. Now, so people understand.
Hold on. Who again?
It's the census population.
No. Who?
Population census tract.
So if you're not participating in the census, the majority of every program we done covered before, you really done took yourself out of
Out of,
qualification.
yeah, hold on, wait a minute. 'Cause
Correct. So just to give an expanded understanding of what it's referring to, if you click on the PDF link, 2018, notice 2018 dash 48. What it gives you is basically a list. So it starts off with Alabama, and I'm assuming it's all in alphabetical order. So it starts off with Alabama, and it has the states, and then it goes down to the counties. So for Alabama, it has Atuba, Baldwin, 6 times Baldwin. Then it has the census tract, then it has the tract type. And now under tract type, it'll say low income community, non-LIC contiguous, low income community, and the ACS. And that, remember the ACS, that's the yearly census,
The
right?
yearly census, yeah.
The yearly census, it'll say from 2011 to 2015. So it's showing it by states, then the counties, then the tract number, the census tract number, and then under tract type, it shows what it is, most of which are low income communities. And it's showing it from 2011 to 2015. Then it goes, Alabama has a lot of
I wonder why 2011. What happened the year before?
2010 census.
Did you say census?
The
Yeah.
census.
Participation?
Yeah.
Hold on, man. Wait a minute. I just heard again that the Indian is not to be enumerated, sir.
Well,
American Indians are not to be enumerated. Now, I'm not saying I heard that from a government website or anything.
That was a while ago, and through acts and policies, that no longer stands. I mean,
Oh, so you're talking about living like you now?
Indian non-enumerated would be someone that's not colonized, not walking around in sneakers.
Are you talking about the
living in the
like
European
tribe
life
that
that
killed
we
the missionary
adopted?
down there?
Yeah,
Okay.
Well,
those are some Indians that's non-enumerated because you ain't going out there to count them.
Not at all. Well, you can if you want. If you want to be face down in a puddle.
and again,
Cool.
I'm looking at all this, and didn't it say you didn't have to live Work.
It did say that.
or have a business in the area you want to help? You
You
want
just
to,
have to make an investment that
Right.
makes a gain, makes a
It
profitable
says
gain.
it actually says all you need to do is invest. That's insane, man. Okay. So you ain't got to be where you at. Okay.
So you mean as a community, we can get together as a community and put our money together as a community, strengthening our dollar and invest in our own community. How about that?
Is that legal?
yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay. 'Cause I heard
It's
some
we
other
can't
things that
Put
sounded very
together an
illegal.
organization, pool our money together, and take our same money and reinvest in our same communities that we living in now to make a profit, to revigorate our communities, and take said profit and reinvest in future development of our community.
I got a question. Isn't the Glades in Florida considered like,
Wildlife
There's-
protected.
yeah, it's
Certain
on this
parts.
list, low income community.
Yeah, because you have communities. You got Bell Glades. If they talking about the Glades,
Yep.
yeah, a lot of sugar farmers still, sugar cane farmers still around there.
I'm looking at
Although
these
my dad's side
counties.
stay out there in Bell Glades.
These tourist areas in different states.
But again, it shows you why you see these companies making investments in our community, and they're doing it in their best interest to make a profit. So now when they make that profit is taken away from our community.
Yeah.
Again, what happens when we invest and we design it to where the profit is reinvested back in the community? So now it's not one or two or three or a few individuals coming up and making a gain. It's the community that gains. We have more power, more leverage as communities than we do as individuals. I mean, it's just like anything in life. You go in a war. What's your chances? Better with a group or by yourself?
Interesting. I'm looking at counties. I know about Herberville, Louisiana, but I didn't know that there was a place called Iberia, Louisiana.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Got a couple of Iberias in America.
Didn't know that. Interesting.
That'll probably be a show one day.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's all I'm gonna say.
Very interesting.
What's the next question we got for him?
I think we got another
Wait, I gotta click back. Hold on.
I'm gonna need you just to start right clicking and opening new tabbing instead of just clicking and going away.
I've downloaded this list. Hold on, I've downloaded this list.
They clean up. Well, all right. Did I ask the numbers question?
You
Yes,
asked.
you did.
Yes, you did.
All right. So since you answered that, I got another one. How can I find the census tract number for a specific address since you keep bringing it up?
You can find 11-digit census tract numbers, also known as GEOIDs, using the U.S. Census Bureau geocoder. After entering the street address, select ACS 2015_current in the vintage drop-down menu and click Find. In the census tract section, you'll find the number after GEOID.
Hola. You trying to tell me I can click on this link right here, like click, just like I just did?
That's a hot link, right?
Yeah, it's hot.
U.S. Census Bureau's geocoder. The
Oh,
Bureau.
when it pops up and it asks me for my street, city, state, zip.
Oh, hold
Hey,
on.
so I can find that. You literally find out like right now. Right now.
Mine is on autofill. I don't know about y'all, but my
If
address.
your area qualifies for this right now, relatives, we can find out right now. We can
Oh, this
invest in
page
our
kind of long. Wait a minute.
communities right now.
This
Which
ain't
we
right.
already know we can invest in our communities. We just saying through this IRS program.
Wow. They're telling me what qualifies from what address to what address on my street. Stop playing, man.
Dang.
This is not cool.
Yes.
This is really cool. Wait a minute. I can go knock on my neighbor door and give him some information. Is that what you're telling me? I can go up the street that way and up the street that way and still talk. Man, what is this?
Well,
So again, you can use it, put your address in right now, find out this information about your community, then get together with like-minded individuals in your community. Come together with a plan to invest dollars into your community to make a profitable gain to even support the community even further.
Oh my goodness, man.
I mean, what we waiting on, y'all? What you got, Gabrielle? I hear you trying to get it out. Let it go. Let's hear it.
I mean, it tells you area water. They have numbers for numbers for numbers.
You know, we
So
like
it's
the
not
numbers.
just a street. It's not just telling you, okay, this address to this address on your street. It's also telling you, okay, so basically the street that I'm on, the county that I'm in, no, the street that I'm on, the neighborhood that I'm in, the county I'm in, the city I'm in, everything is broken down into tracks and numbers. So even though I'm on this street and this has one track, it's also it tells you the track number for the area that you're in and the track number for the county, so you can have all those numbers. Even down to the Tells you your county number and all. The census tract name 22.02. Yeah, this is there's no games in this. If you want to know, it's there. geocoding.geo.census.gov.
So again, forget all the speculation. You can plug in right now and find out what your house is listed as.
They
Correct?
just gave me the coordinates to my house.
But it can tell you what it's listed as.
Yes.
Like, right
You
now,
ain't even know you had those.
Yes.
that you can invest, and you can find out right now if you can invest in your area.
Absolutely.
So if and buts about it, no fees, no right leg, left leg, firstborn, sign over this, sign over that. Just go and click and put in your address. Correct?
Yep. And it's crazy because it's going through the list of houses I've been looking at sitting empty. Okay. Yes, and yes. I'm not about to go on this tangent. Let me click back. Okay.
You out here tangenticizing. Keep making up words. We are on investor deferring gains.
Tangentacular.
All right, now it's starting to sound like a fruit.
Okay.
That's a flavor of juice you just named.
Wow.
That's what the astronauts drink. All right, so here we go. Let's see. I got a question, Gabrielle.
Okay.
It's about the subject of investor deferring gains. I don't even know what that means, but I got a real good question about it.
All right.
First question. I sold some stock for a gain in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And during the 180-day period beginning on the date of the sale, I invested the amount of the gain in a qualified opportunity fund. Can I defer paying tax on that gain?
Yes.
Man, you're gonna stop saying yes.
Repeat that question and answer, please.
Right.
You want me to? Okay. You didn't hit nothing, did you? Okay, let me read it.
I hit everything and the kitchen sink.
I sold some stock for a gain in 2018, and during the 180-day period beginning on the date of the sale, I invested the amount of the gain in a qualified opportunity fund. Can I defer paying tax on that gain? I want to know.
Yes. You may elect to defer the tax on the amount of the gain invested in a qualified opportunity fund. Therefore, if you only invest part of your gain in a qualified opportunity funds, you can elect to defer tax on only the part of the gain which was invested. So if I'm to understand this correctly,
what is this?
You sell a property. During that 180-day period, you took that gain and you reinvested it back into a qualified opportunity fund. And am I getting this correct?
Correct.
And then now you defer the tax. Now you can defer the tax on the part that you reinvested.
Whatever you reinvested. So if you reinvest the whole thing.
Man, let me ask you something.
I'm listening.
That's like saying deferred is like putting off, but at the same time, reinvesting is like saying no taxes.
Businessman non-taxed.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I got another question. So it's beneficial business-wise to invest and reinvest and reinvest and reinvest into your community.
That sounds like a tough
Your
question.
community, your interests. I mean, that's up to you on what you're interested in to invest back in it.
Right.
But correct. Yes. I mean, TMH said something a long time ago when we first met, when he was like, he explained what he did with his business. And you have a lot of clients that don't pay taxes. Their companies don't pay taxes. And no one never took the time out to ask him how. You get what I'm saying? This is how these large corporations don't pay taxes. They put investments into their interests.
Mic check.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. So you said some of his clients don't pay taxes. Would that mean? I mean, and they pay their fair share, and even if that fair share is zero, that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when somebody says that,
look what they do in return. They don't pay taxes, but they make investments that they make a profit off in these areas. The only difference is they're investing in their interests.
Yes.
A lot of times they're not from these neighborhoods, so their interest will not be to revitalize the neighborhood. It's to do whatever it is that's bringing them a profit in. So what happens when we reinvest in our own neighborhoods again with the intent on bringing back?
Bones, you cutting out a little bit, or is that me, Gabrielle?
No. I was about to say he cut out real quick.
Yeah, you cutting out
It's
a little
basically
bit.
That good information.
Reinvesting back in our communities.
Right.
Instead of sitting back complaining that others are investing in the community, then taking the gains and putting them someplace else. I mean, what would you expect for them to do? They're not from that community. They never had to walk a day in their life in these communities. I mean, let's be honest and realistic. Expecting someone who never lived like you, who have no idea of what you've been through, to have compassion and understanding, that ain't gonna happen.
Right.
I mean, in Hollywood, but then the director say cut and everybody go home.
Right.
Back to reality. Man, I'm asking the next question. That was just ridiculous. Anyone?
Yeah, we can move to the next one.
All right. So, how do I elect to defer my gain on the 2018 sale of the stock? More stock questions.
Whoa. Not bad. Okay, so the answer to that is you may make an election to defer the gain or in whole or in part when filing your 2018 federal income tax return. That is, you may make the election on the return on which the tax on that gain would be due if you do not defer it. For additional information, see how to report an election to defer tax on eligible gain invested in a QO fund in the Form 8949 instructions. And clicking on that hot link, it is a PDF, of course, but it gives you the instructions and everything. How to file.
You mean a walkthrough?
Yep.
That's like taking a test with the answers.
Mm-hmm. It also gives you revisions from what's done in the past and what's changed currently. Yeah. I mean, it gives you even a link to how to report eligible gains from qualified opportunity zones business property on Form 8949. And that's of January 30th, 2020. So it gives you, you're getting current forms and you're getting current instructions and current understandings of what's revised, what's been changed. sales and other dispositions of assets, investment income and expenses, basis of assets. And then there's another link for other current products. But right under the form, it says instructions for Form 8949.
So you're just not hopping out there in the deep water, not knowing how to swim, without no protections, basically.
This is correct. This is correct.
Saying like to me, starting to see what the game is and how it's really played, relatives.
And this is filed with a 1040.
Makes you think of the statement again. What can your money do for you? What can it do for you? What's our next questions?
On the third question, right? Okay.
It said, I sold some stock on December 15th, 2017. And during the required 180-day period, I invested the amount of the gain in a qualified opportunity fund. Can I elect to defer the tax on that gain?
Here we go. Yes.
Hold up. But this is like even further back.
Yep. Yes, you make the election on your 2017 return. Attach Form 8949, reporting information about the sale of your stock. Precise instructions on how to use that form to elect deferral of the gain will be forthcoming shortly.
So, another playbook? Hold on. You don't gotta sign no special application for none of this?
Nope.
What was the secret code we had to put in to get this now?
Google sent us to .gov.
What is .gov? Would they be bad?
That's a government. IRS.gov.
Oh, so they're official.
This is official website.
Okay, next question then. Ready?
Ready.
Can I still elect to defer tax on that gain if I have already filed my tax return?
Again, yes. But you will need to file an amended return using Form 1040X and attaching Form 8949. It's interesting because
Hold up. I can go back and claim it.
Yes.
Like change my mind.
Yep.
Just fill out this form, that form, and that's handled.
Yep.
What is this?
Yep. It's funny because my son called me over the weekend saying, Mommy, what is a 1040X? And I was like, I don't know. I haven't heard of that. Let me Google it. A 1040X is when you're making corrections to correct forms to 1040, 1040A, 1040EZ, 1040NR, 1040NREZ. You make certain elections after the prescribed deadline. Change amounts previously adjusted by the IRS. Make a claim for a carryback due to loss or unused credits. Instructions are the link for instructions.
This is changing your tax status, something that you want to correct on your tax application, correct?
Correct.
Your tax status.
So this is why it's saying, yes, you can go back, but you need to use a 1040X because that's what you're correcting. If you didn't if you didn't defer your taxes on the money of the gains that you received from the properties or from the areas that were invested in, you can go back using this form along with the 8949 to defer and correct that. They got the link to the instructions. This is more help.
All right, next question.
Okay.
I defer the gain based on an investment in a QOF, and now the QOF has dissolved before the end of my deferral period. What happens to my deferred gain?
When the QOF dissolved, the deferral period ended, and you must include the deferred gain when you file your return, reporting the gain on Form 8949. So it doesn't sound like anything gets hurt or there's loss. You just got to claim it.
Okay, next question then. I deferred the gain based on an investment in a QOF, and now I gave that investment to my child before the deferral period had ended. Is there anything that I need to do?
Let me ask that question again, please.
I deferred the gain based on an investment in a QOF, and now I gave the investment to my child before the deferral period had ended. Is there anything that I need to do?
Yes. The deferral period ended when you gave away the QOF investment. You must include the deferred gain when you file your return, reporting the gain on Form 8949. So the deferral period ended, but now, if I'm understanding this correctly, Bones, correct me if I'm wrong, the deferral period ended once it was given to the child.
Uh-huh.
That ended for you, but now there's an investment your child has now invested, so now whatever gains is deferred for the child.
Correct.
All right.
Or you can have it structured like that in the beginning, that you're handing it over to the child.
It's very amazing that this was a frequently asked question, because this tells me that people are investing and getting their children involved in
investing in their children's names.
Yes.
Next question. Can I defer Section 1231 capital gain net income for a taxable year under the Opportunity Zone rules?
Yes. If a taxpayer's Section 1231 gains for any taxable year exceed the Section 1231 losses for that year, the net gain is long-term capital gain. A taxpayer can elect to defer some or all of this capital gain under Section 1400Z-2 by making an investment of a corresponding amount in a qualified opportunity fund, QOF, during the 180-day period that begins on the last day of the taxpayer's taxable year.
Hold on, I'm scratching my head here.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you want me to read this again?
Yeah, one more time, because it sounds like I can take a loss and still win.
Yes. If a taxpayer's Section 1231 gains for any taxable year exceed the Section 1231 losses for that year, the net gain is long-term capital gain. A taxpayer can elect to defer some or all of this capital gain under Section 1400Z-2 by making an investment of a corresponding amount in a qualified opportunity fund, QOF, during the 180-day period that begins on the last day of the taxpayer's taxable year.
So I can take my 1231, my net gain, and turn around and make that as an investment to my community.
Yep.
And profit from it.
Yep.
My own personal tax.
Yep.
I got another question.
Okay.
Before the last day of my 2018 tax year, but during the 180-day period beginning with the realization of Section 1231 gain, I invested the amount of that Section 1231 gain into a QOF. The amount that I invested was less than my 2018 net Section 1231 gain. Can I make a valid deferral election based on that investment, even though proposed regulations say that the 180-day period for my net gain, Section 1231 gain, began on December 31st, 2018?
Yes. Under these facts, because your tax year ended before May 1st, 2019, your QOF investment can support a valid deferral election. Making that election will not impair your ability consistently to rely on other aspects of proposed regulations published on May 31st, 2019. Proposed regulations is a hot link. And it provides guidance under the new section 1400Z-2 of the Internal Revenue Code relating to gains that may be deferred as a result of a taxpayer's investment in a qualified opportunity fund, as well as special rules for investment in a QOF held by a taxpayer for at least 10 years. This document also contains proposed regulations that update portions of previously proposed regulations under section 1400Z-2 to address various issues, including the definition of substantially all in each of the various places that appears in section 1400Z-2, the transaction that may trigger the inclusion of gain that a taxpayer has elected to defer under section 1400Z-2, the timing and amount of the deferred gain that is included, the treatment of leased property used by a property in the qualified opportunity zone, the sourcing of gross income to the qualified opportunity zone business, and the reasonable period for a QOF to reinvest proceeds from the sale of qualifying assets without paying a penalty. These proposed regulations will affect QOFs and taxpayers that invest in QOFs. It has dates, addresses, further information, contacts, supplementary information, background. Wow. Definitions.
And that's information dealing with investors' deferred gains.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next set of questions. Ready?
I was ready.
Investor property rules. Question: can I transfer property other than cash as an investment to a QOF?
Yes. A taxpayer can transfer property other than cash as an investment to a QOF. However, a transfer of non-cash property may result in only part of the investment being eligible for opportunity zone tax benefits, so that not all of the taxpayer's capital gain is able to be deferred. See proposed regulation 1400Z2A-1B9 and 10.
So basically, if I had a building and I donated it for a community center as an investment, I can get a percentage of that deferred.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, I got one more question in this category for you.
Okay.
When I transfer property to a QOF, does my holding period of the property also transfer to my QOF eligible investment?
No. The Opportunity Zone's tax incentive provision determines a taxpayer's holding period in a qualifying investment in QOF without regard to the holding period of the cash or other property transferred to the QOF.
So it doesn't mean, so no matter how long I had that amount of cash or property, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I can invest it in a QOF.
Correct.
It doesn't matter if you.
So I can just come into it and be like, hey, I came into this here and I want to invest it in my neighborhood. And there's no issue.
Came into it.
Hey.
Came into it. Hey.
Came into it.
Best all night.
Okay. I have another set of questions. Okay. Investor adjusted based to fair market value. Well, investor adjusting based to fair market value. Question 1. I made an investment in a QOF. After holding it for at least 10 years, I sell or exchange it. Can I adjust the basis to fair market value?
Yes, but only if you made the investment in connection with a proper deferral election. Also, the election must have remained in effect until the post 10-year sale or exchange. The election didn't cease to be in effect solely because on December 31st, 2026, the law requires you to include your income, the gain that you had deferred under that election.
Okay, next question.
So this extends, even though they're giving the date of 2026, it still extends past that. This is what they've proposed up until 2026, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Next question. I had ordinary gain from the sale of property in 2018. During the 180-day period beginning on the date of the sale, I invested the amount of that gain in a QOF. In 2029, I sell my interest in the QOF. Can I adjust my basis to the fair market value?
No, because the gain wasn't capital gain. You can't elect to defer it. So your investment in the QOF wasn't made in connection with a proper deferral election. For this reason, the basis adjustment to the FMV isn't available for the investment. So you have to, go ahead.
Can't be a personal gain, must be capital gain.
Correct.
All righty. No sellout, you got the next section?
Yep. Where we at? No, I'm joking. We on investor property rules? Or investor adjusting basis to fair market value? What? For qualified opportunity funds.
Qualified opportunity funds.
Y'all play too much. Kip just told me. Got me reading. QOF. QOF. There ain't no U, so QOF. What is a qualified opportunity fund?
A qualified opportunity fund is an investment vehicle that files either a partnership or corporation federal income tax return and is organized for the purpose of investing in qualified opportunity zone property. So it's specific to the areas that are designated by the census tracts as low income. It's specific to investing in those areas.
I don't even know what to do with that one.
I'm back. Sorry about that. A call came in.
Oh, we can redo that one then. We need reaction.
Wait, what happened?
He said he's back. He didn't hear the question.
Oh, go ahead and ask.
What is a qualified opportunity fund?
A qualified opportunity fund is an investment vehicle that files either a partnership or corporation federal income tax return and is organized for the purpose of investing in qualified opportunity zone property.
Phones out here getting phone calls left and right.
So another way to invest in your community through partnerships or forming corporations to benefit the community. Am I understanding this right?
Yeah, I got a question.
Uh-huh.
If a bunch of small businesses, entrepreneurs got together, investing into opportunity zones, tracts that are designated as opportunity zones, that would be, oh my goodness. So those businesses, those entrepreneurs would basically constantly, if the thought is to constantly reinvest in the community, reinvest in building up the community.
Uh-huh.
All right.
That's why I say again, imagine when we form our companies and even as individuals get together and form partnerships and we start these funds for our community.
Mm-hmm.
Word up.
Yes.
These investments work.
All right, I got another question. I think I can come up with another one, maybe a few more. All right. I'm interested in forming a qualified opportunity fund myself. Is there a list of opportunity zone available in which the fund can invest?
Yes. The list of designated qualified opportunity zones can be found in IRS Notices 2018 through 48 PDF and 2019 through 42 or dash.
Yeah, because we ain't
42.
in the future yet.
Okay. Dash 42 PDF. Further, a visual map of the census tract designated as qualified opportunity zones may be found.
This looks very familiar. My hot link is purple, not blue anymore.
Yeah, that's how I know I've clicked on it before. Yeah,
it's the same. So same answer as above. The list of designated qualified opportunity zones. You got IRS forms, the 2 PDFs. Further, you got a visual map. Man, click these links. Don't click them again, Gabrielle. I'm talking about the people in the chat. The answer is yes. There is a list of opportunity zones available in which the fund can invest. So, yeah. We can move on to the next one, right? Since we got the same answer from the last one. No? All right, I'm gonna move on anyway.
Yeah, my bad.
How does a corporation's, or people, my friend, or partnership become certified as a qualified opportunity fund?
I was looking at that link because they were offering certifications. All right, so
you can answer my questions live. You already clicked in links.
To become a qualified opportunity fund, an eligible corporation or partnership self-certifies by filing Form 8996. Qualified Opportunity Fund with its federal income tax return. For additional information, see Form 8996 and its instructions. The return with Form 8996 must be filed timely, taking extensions into account.
Hold up. Self-certifies. What that mean?
Mm-hmm. Is that like self-identifying?
It sounds like you're doing it. Yes. No, I'm about to say. No, I'm not gonna cuss. Yourself. You're doing it yourself.
Mm. And that's corporations or partnerships. Well, look at here.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we ain't just on here reading links, looking at tracks. What the
Well, I'm sharing the screen, so proof is not a problem. So I'm sharing the screen; they can see it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. No more clicking, Gabrielle. Is that what that means?
Man.
Oh, you sharing the screen, Bones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sharing.
Hold on. You sharing her screen?
No, he's sharing his.
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sharing the site. Yeah.
Say,
Yeah, because we'd be like,
Gabrielle. What? Is this the same site? No. Click the link.
whole community have her to go.
Oh Lord, I can't go to work today. Gabrielle with them links and sharing screens, I can't do it.
All I see is windows. The windows.
What is this? The opposite of jail? What is this? Okay. I'm in a glass house. All right, I got another question. This is the last one for this section. I ain't gonna ask no more for this
peeking in my window.
Wow. I ain't got no house now.
Another link now.
Then shattered all my windows. One shot. All right, I got a question.
Please.
Can a limited liability company LLC be an opportunity fund?
Yes.
You keep saying
a
yes.
LLC that chooses to be treated either as a partnership or corporation for federal tax purposes can organize as a qualified opportunity fund. Now that is pretty deep. I got a question.
How you got a question when you was answering a question?
Man, I got a question. Can you read that? I just want to make sure I
Oh, so you got a question. You want me to ask a question one more again?
Yeah, because I want to make sure I'm taking this in right, because this sounds like funding.
So, question. That's what Q stand for. Can a limit?
You messed me up. No, not to drink anymore.
Hold on, let me take a. No, I ain't gonna take a sip and make myself. Can a limited liability company (LLC) be an opportunity fund? I got a question.
Yes. A LLC that chooses to be treated either as a partnership or corporation for federal tax purposes can organize as a qualified opportunity fund.
And that's still self-identifying, right? Self-certifying, right?
Man, what?
So fill out a form to self-certify your LLC, a nonprofit.
The wheels in my head have been turning. So if you have a nonprofit LLC, LLC established in an opportunity zone, invested in an opportunity zone, established in an opportunity zone, your LLC can be invested in an opportunity fund.
Yeah. You can create an opportunity fund. A fund to where you take the funds to invest in the community.
That's like a circle, a never-ending circle.
Yes. Especially when the people of the community own the businesses that support that community.
Right.
Now you have these funds circulating 12, 13, 14 times in this community. And with the benefit that the gains from it are structured to come back and invest and benefit the community. Generational wealth.
That's like that football team, right?
Which one?
The is it Minnesota?
What are you talking about?
There's a football team where basically the town owns all the
Oh,
seats.
talking about Green
Oh, you're
Bay.
talking about
Green Bay. There you go.
Yeah, the Green Bay Packers. Yeah.
There you go.
One of the best markets in the NFL.
Yeah, the community benefits from the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
Basically, it's the only community-owned team in the NFL.
Mm.
What's the next set of questions we got? What we got?
Oh, I can just read from right here. I ain't even gotta go nowhere. I don't want to get froggy and click no link like Gabrielle, so I'm gonna stay on the screen share where I can't click nothing but Zoom. QOF property rules. That's what we under. I got questions about that. First one: when is it tangible property? When is tangible property, quote, original use, quote, tangible property? When is tangible property original use tangible property?
Tangible property is original use on the date first placed in service in the qualified opportunity zone for purposes of depreciation or amortization.
Amortization?
What is that? Hold on.
Amortization.
I need to find out what this word is.
So while you find that out, I'm going to reread the top while you're looking that up. Tangible property. So the question was, what was the question? I'm on the wrong screen. When is tangible property original use tangible property? And the beginning of that answer was tangible property is, Bones is skipping around. Tangible property is original use on the date first placed in service in the qualified opportunity zone for purposes of depreciation and amortization. Amortization.
Okay, amortization is an accounting technique used to periodically lower the book value of a loan or intangible asset over a set period of time. The term amortization can refer to two situations. First, amortization is used in the process of paying off debt through regular principal and interest payments over time.
So it's a technique that we don't use, pretty much.
Right.
But I guess we will be involved in using eventually. I don't know. Okay, so I guess you can finish the second part of that. Unless you want to read from the beginning.
Okay. Used tangible property. Actually, let me read the whole question. Tangible property is original use on the date first placed in service in the qualified opportunity zone for purposes of depreciation or amortization. Used tangible property satisfies the original use requirement if the property has not been previously placed in service in the qualified opportunity zones. So, amortization. So basically the value of the property that's gone down? So if the value of the property has gone down, basically what you owe on it is greater than what the property is valued for under amortization, right?
I'm gonna say yes.
So it changes when tangible property original use, when is tangible property original use?
We're gonna have to highlight that question and go in a little bit more after the show, maybe.
So the original, when is tangible property original use? So when the original use, so what you, when you put the property into qualified opportunity zone, business property. Because so this would fall under business properties.
So tangible property is original use on the date first placed in service in the qualified opportunity zone for purposes of depreciation or amortization.
So basically to bring up the value of the property, because the value, amortization is basically the value of the property is less than what's owed on it. So once the property goes into the first date, once it's placed into service for a qualified opportunity zone, it's to increase the value of the property so that it's basically not upside down, right? The property gets invested in, and now the value of the property increases. It increases so that what's owed on it is not more than what it's actually worth, right?
It wasn't me.
So if the property had not been placed in service before, once it's placed in service under opportunity zone, once it's placed in service as opportunity zone, it's put in the opportunity zone to bring the value of that property up. Right? Am I getting this right?
I believe you're going in the right direction.
Okay, next question.
I was gonna say, me can't answer that. I can't do it.
When Bones comes back, we'll chop that one up again.
Yeah. Because you know you read all this stuff before.
Right.
Too much. Leaving us hanging like this. No, I'm joking.
I'm asking
all right.
You asking me.
You know how that goes.
Man.
Talk about that 4 o'clock in the morning session where we asking each other questions like, wait a minute, why ain't neither one of us answering? We just asking questions back and forth.
Are you talking to me?
I don't see nobody else around, so I guess you must be talking to me. Keep checking the Zoom link to see if somebody joined. To what? To you. All right, man. I don't even know where we at. Hold up.
Okay.
I got you. I know where we at.
Okay.
We on the Ken inventory, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back and smash that later after the show. We're gonna do it. Can inventory in transit be qualified opportunity zone business property, quote unquote?
Yes. Inventory of a QOF, including raw materials, does not fail to be used in a qualified opportunity zone solely because the inventory is in transit from a vendor to the QOF or from the QOF to a customer. And ask that question again, because if I'm understanding it, go ahead. Ask it.
No. I got a question. Can inventory in transit be quote unquote qualified opportunity zone business property?
Yes, inventory of a QOF, including raw materials, does not fail to be used in a qualified opportunity zone solely because the inventory is in transit from a vendor to the QOF or from the QOF to a customer. Now, here's my thoughts. When you got a community garden, say you're renting out a building, you establish your community garden, you establish your nonprofit, your LLC, you rent out a building that's in an opportunity zone. You have a community garden, you have basically produce or whatever you're growing in that community garden. You are transporting your materials, even if it's not things that you're growing. It could be benches and chairs and tables, oh my, that's also being transported either to the business or from the business to the customer. That's included? That's just how I'm thinking. Am I correct in thinking that way?
I'm sorry, Gabrielle. Were you asking me a question?
Bounce.
Bounce. Somebody.
One of them.
We just need new eyes. Is anybody in the chat expressing their feelings on this?
Hold on, yeah. Let me look at the chat real quick. Don't leave me to my thinking. I'm a quit.
Don't leave me no brain.
Paladin 9 says, "Oh yeah, you did." Paladin 9 says, "Over there burping and whatnot."
Hold up, did I burp?
Yes, you came back on.
Oh man, I hit the mute button. Man, we family, y'all. Stop playing now. Come on now. Y'all ain't never had no I just woke up gas.
Nature's
Say it
voice
with your chest. Don't hold it in. You might hurt yourself.
Nature's voice said, "Dang, no sellout."
I'm sorry. I chug a lot of water, especially as soon as I wake up. So, and I don't chug it. I'm sorry. I drink it, but I drink so much that some air pockets be going through my epiglottis now. Y'all better leave me alone now. Spell your gases, okay? Read the book. No, I ain't gonna read. No, not that title. That's for children learning how to use the bathroom. But listen, I can belch.
What?
Okay, I was talking about Everybody Poops. You know that title. Everybody belches. Dingus. Dang it. I try not to cuss. Why did you tell me I belched, Gabrielle? Why you got the chat telling me? The chat always telling me I'm doing stuff. They hear everything, and you ain't hearing nothing, and we on the same call.
I didn't even understand. I was like, okay, he came off mute. He belched. Then he went back on mute.
I remember doing that too, and I just don't remember being off mute.
I was like, oh, okay, that's what we do.
Y'all play too much. You know what? And because I was gone for a while, I just came back burping. My bad. All right, I was drinking my water, y'all.
You just made me.
Somebody always got to notice something.
Yeah, I told my daughter something some years back, and you just made me think about it.
Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to belch in your ears this rising. I apologize. I'll watch the mute button next time. Drink your water, folks. You'll be belching with me. Are we moving on to this this next can't answer a question?
Moving on.
We can answer, but we're gonna expound on it later. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Look, Bones is steady scrolling, but he ain't talking. I don't understand. Is that you, Gabrielle, or is that me?
Nope, that's Bones. Nope.
He played too much. He doing this on purpose. I know what he's doing.
You're not getting your dizziness from me today. Nope,
so it's Monday. Nope. It's my Friday right now. Friday.
At least I know it's Monday. I didn't know that I was 2 days behind last week.
Yep. And then it didn't help that I actually said the wrong date to you. You're like, wait, what? What day is it?
No, you don't understand. It was Friday, and I was like, wait, I just took out the trash to the trash cans yesterday. And then I had to think, was that yesterday? No, that was like 3 days ago. Where are you at? And me, myself, and I had a nice little conversation like, what happened?
Exactly. I had to run it back. Let's run that back.
That was yesterday. You took the trash cans to the curb yesterday. No, that was 3 days ago. It's Friday.
No.
I thought it was Wednesday.
It's like, no.
No, that was no.
You want some of this too, old man? No. All right, since Bones is doing what he want to do right now. Did we answer? Did I ask this next? You answered this question, right?
Yeah, we're on QOF 50.
QOF 50% of gross income test. That's a test, y'all. Somebody
test.
Give me a number 2 pencil because they testing. QOF 50% of gross income test. Question: what is the 50% of gross income test? What is it?
What is this? Okay. A qualified opportunity zone business must earn at least 50% of its gross income from business activities within a QOZ. It must do so for, hold on. It must do so, okay. It must do so for each taxable year. The proposed regulations provide 3 safe harbors that a business may use to meet this test. These safe harbors are hours of service received test, amounts paid for services test, necessary tangible property, and business functions test.
So these are safe harbors.
Yeah.
Like
hours of operation, amounts paid for services, necessary tangible property, and business functions. What the business and property functions as within the opportunity zone within the community. So if I'm understanding this correctly, the hours that you're open for business, what you provide, and how it benefits the community. If I'm understanding this correctly.
Yeah, it says a qualified opportunity zone business must earn at least 50% of its gross income from the business activities within a qualified opportunity zone.
So basically, you're not just going to be able to do this and say, okay, I didn't make anything. You got to make at least half.
You got to make 50%.
Just half. That's like when older people used to say, if you just do halfway right, you'll get it together. Halfway.
That means you're halfway wrong, and if you do it halfway right, then you're a whole right. You're a whole right once you do it halfway right, because you're already halfway wrong.
Just do it halfway. Just halfway listen. Just halfway.
All right, so yeah, that is yeah.
You ain't even gotta walk, just crawl.
You must earn at least 50% of its gross income for business activities within a qualified opportunity zone. So, and then the safe harbors are there for you to meet the test. So, next question. Must a qualified opportunity zone business meet all 3 safe harbors to satisfy the 50% of gross income test?
No.
What? Come on, man. You better give me some examples. I feel like it.
It's enough for a QOZ business to satisfy just 1 safe harbor.
Out of the 3? You only don't have 1? Okay.
Man, I guess that's what they mean by just half. Look.
This ain't even no like 2 forms of ID type stuff. It's just 1.
For real.
Come as you are. You gotta wear no fancy clothes at church. Come on now.
Man, for example, 50% or more of all the hours of services that a business receives and uses were performed in 1 or more QOZs. This business satisfies the hours test and therefore the 50% of gross income test. Oh, so if you do 1, it cancels out the other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Second example, a QOF owns a business that operates in multiple QOZs. The business received and used 100,000 hours of services during the year. Of those, employees spend 25,000 hours in QOZ 1. Independent contractors spend 20,000 hours in QOZ 2. Employees of the independent contractors spend 10,000 hours in QOZ 3. The remaining 45,000 hours were outside of a QOZ. This business satisfies the hours test and therefore the 50% of gross income test. The aggregated hours of service in QOZs during the tax year were at least 50% of the hours of services obtained by the business in all locations. Interesting, because it even talks about contractors too. So if you, well, I wouldn't say if you focus, but if you can, I mean, with the hours itself, that cancels out the other one. So basically, yeah, you just need to meet half.
Half.
If you work it, they will come.
Next question.
All right.
Oh, we got more information. Ain't even no question. Well, it is a question. More information. Hey, Gabrielle.
Yep.
How can I get more information about opportunity zones?
Additional information can be found at the tax reform site of the irs.gov website. Scroll to opportunity zones and click. Also, by entering opportunity zones in the search box available at treasury.gov and irs.gov.
Okay, so resources, huh?
Yeah. And just based off of that last question off the 50% of gross income test, those last two questions in that section, it's almost like, look, we don't expect you to jump into this and bring in a whole lot of revenue, but to start off so that, hey, just meet it halfway. If you can get halfway, you're in there. So it's almost like, look, your first year starting off, we don't expect you to turn this around right away. But if you meet it halfway, you'll see the benefits of it, if that makes sense. And I could be wrong, but that's what I'm getting from it.
I get it. I got that. I'm rocking with it. Not burping.
Yeah, and it's also like, hey, you're not going to be able to jump in here and say, okay, I'm going to sit on this. I put it in an opportunity zone. I got funding from here. I got funding from there. So I'm going to sit on this. No, like, you know what? This is almost like, just give me bare minimum. Just give me something. Give me something. What you got? Give me something. And the fact that it's also talking about having multiple a business taking on multiple areas. So you've got this where they're like, okay, you've got contractors, you got independent contractors working in different areas. It's like a franchise.
It's not them franchise boys, is it? I'm just saying, first thing popped in my head. Didn't we have a video with the new representative for Opportunity Zones that we posted? It might have been James.
Yeah.
No, it was us. I think we posted a video.
Yep.
So it's cool that it came right back around and we can explain and talk about opportunity zones.
Yep.
So,
I mean, it's all here.
Sorry about that, y'all. I'm back.
how convenient, because we are finished. Oh, she's scrolling up. She's scrolling back up. I was like, oh no, forget after the show. Let's do this now.
Yeah. Okay.
Quick
so,
answer question.
In the section QOF, property rules, when is tangible property original use tangible property? The answer given was tangible property is original use on the dates first placed in service in the qualified opportunity zone for purpose of depreciation or amortization. Use tangible property satisfies the original use requirement if the property has not been previously placed in service in the qualified opportunity zone. Now, I got from that, asked a question to Double Cousin, he threw it back at me. But I got from that, as long as the property wasn't previously put in an opportunity zone for service, and if the property, it's what's owed, like if there's a mortgage on it. So if what's owed on it is more than what the property is valued, the property gets put into service in an opportunity zone to bring up the value for the investment so that it's not upside down, right?
Correct.
And that when it goes to original use, it's the moment that it's put into service in an opportunity zone, right?
So that way, none of the bad property taxes or bad baggage that's attached to property, you're taking what you're moving forward.
And same section, can inventory in transit be qualified opportunity zone business property? Answer is yes. Inventory of a QOF, including raw materials, does not fail to be used in a qualified opportunity zone solely because the inventory is in transit from a vendor to the QOF or from the QOF to the customer. So what I got from that was basically, like, say there's a building, it's an opportunity zone. I'm renting that building out, community garden. So the product taken from the community garden, whether it's being what's grown or what's made, like chairs, benches, tables, all that, the product coming to the community garden and the building property that's in a community zone, and the product coming from the community garden to the customer, those products and materials are covered, right?
Yeah, basically, it doesn't have to be on site. So if this community garden that you have, if your investment is the product of the garden, then investments don't have to be on site. It can be in transit and they still count, like being transported from one place to another. Or if you bring them in from another location.
You're breaking up a little bit.
You're breaking up, Bones.
Or if you bring them in from another location. Because remember, the business itself does not have to be in the qualified area.
And raw materials, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So let's say if your raw materials is vegetables to be prepared that you donated, right?
Right.
Them vegetables that's in transit, Carolina to, let's say, Georgia, also count towards it. It does not have to be in Georgia for it to count towards it.
So raw materials would also, like wood and stuff that you've got to cut and shape or whatnot for chairs, tables, and benches?
If it's going towards the project, if it's towards a donation.
If it's going towards the project?
Yeah, if it's going into the fund to be used for the improvement of the community.
Got you.
So let's say if you did a community store where they're selling said furniture, that furniture in transit to the store to be sold counts as well. Meaning, if you say you had 1,000 chairs and 500 of them in transit, you can still count them as 1,000 to be sold or 1,000 being donated.
Okay.
Well, all right. Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Bones, you hear me burp when I came back off mute? Because somebody in the chat did. And they tried to embarrass me. Your phone's still breaking up, Bones. Y'all ain't tell him that. Telling me I burped.
I said he was breaking up.
Y'all are biased, man. It's messed up. I be cussing and burping, and y'all just call me out for it. Don't even take me to the side. Like, hey, can you chill out a little bit? It's a family show. This is educational. Can't be Al Bundy. Did he say he had a phone call?
He was breaking up. I don't know.
All right. Opportunity.
So I found a website on our opportunity zones. Here, let me. Oh, what happened? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
My computer did something weird.
1, 2.
One, two.
Yep. Yeah.
You have to switch over. Too many calls keep trying to come through every time I try to speak.
Like, hey man, can you stop talking about these opportunities that's in zones right now? You're messing up my 2020 beginnings. You say you found a website, Gabrielle? I found TPC. Yeah. I got the TPC.
I put the link in the chat.
Tax Policy Center, that's what that is. But it's just going over CD. Go ahead.
Well, it's going off of Opportunity Zones. It's an economic innovation group. It says a new national community investment tool that connects private capital with low-income communities across America. EIG launches interactive map highlighting innovative Opportunity Zone activity. It says the Opportunity Zones incentive is a new community investment tool established by Congress in the Tax Cuts and Job Act of 2017 to encourage long-term investments in low-income, urban, and rural communities nationwide. Opportunity Zones provide a tax incentive for investors to reinvest their unrealized capital gains into dedicated opportunity funds. Read more below about how the Opportunity Zone incentive works, as well as its history and community of supporters.
Again, another program that's designed for you to benefit from the growth of your community, your businesses, your organizations and corporations. Design them, and you can benefit your community. So things that you see that's wrong, you don't have to wait for outside companies to come in and do it. You can use your own companies or get your own groups together and finance your own communities, the needs of your own communities.
Yeah.
And then now imagine when you tie this into USDA and HUD Section 3. This is a third program now. So this is 3 programs that you can run together to make change.
Yeah, this is I clicked on the link that's within the link. It says new data, final regulations, close out first chapter for Opportunity Zones, January 22nd, 2020. Newly released data from the U.S. Census Bureau provide the clearest look yet at the country's economic and demographic landscape at the start of the Opportunity Zones incentive in 2018, when governors across the country were nominating census tracts for inclusion in the policy. The latest numbers underscore the stark socioeconomic divide between the local conditions for 31.5 million Opportunity Zone residents and the rest of the country. So the census was involved in this. The governors of all states were involved in this. The governors, and I mean, the fact that they were nominating the census tracts. So when you look on the tool that's provided to on the IRS's website to put in your address, the tract number, all that information, you'll see, okay, the governors of each state took these tracts and said, hey, these are Opportunity Zones. These areas is where we need to invest. These areas are where we need to focus on. This is what we need to do. And don't we elect governors?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So they're going off of the census. They're going off of governors that we elect. Okay. This says the American Community Survey, ACS, that's that yearly survey. The American Community Survey 5-year estimates from the 2014 to 2018 period released in December 2019 show modest improvement relative to the lagging data that was available at the time governors nominated tracks. Nevertheless, the new figures confirm that the bulk of opportunity zones were severely economically distressed at the time of nomination, even relative to other low-income communities, and remain the highest need communities in the United States when examined against common measures of economic well-being.
More programs for programs for programs.
Since been programming.
Right. And I mean,
I got three update announcements I want to put out there real quick. This Rising got a Reconnect program email from USDA, and that's dealing with the cable, and we went over that last week. Mm-hmm. The Reconnect program webinar is open. It's a question and answer, and it's Tuesday, February the 25th, 2020, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's tomorrow at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I will have the link put in the form, so anyone who's interested in attending the webinar, you can get the link and the information from there. And again, this is the Reconnect program webinar, and it's an open question and answers. So if you have particular questions that you need answered live, it might be a good thing to attend the webinar, and it's free. So I will have the link in the form.
Yeah.
1 to 2.
Next announcement is the USDA invests $5 million in broadband for rural Georgia communities. This link will be in there as well. So anyone that's interested in the broadband that's in the Georgia area. Clayton, Georgia, February 21st, 2020. Today, Agricultural Secretary Sonny Perdue announced a $5 million investment in 2 high-speed broadband infrastructure projects that will create or improve rural e-connectivity for 1,221 rural households, 32 per subscribed businesses, and 20 per subscribed farms in McIntosh and Evan counties in Georgia. This one of many funding announcements is the first round of the United States Department of Agriculture Reconnect Pilot Program investments. Again, this one of many funding announcements in the first round of the United States Department of Agriculture USDA Reconnect Pilot Program investment.
What does first round even mean? Because it seems like I got a lot of emails of second round and third round of funding.
Well, this program, they're just coming into the beginning of their quarter where they start releasing fundings.
So it's a possibility of more opportunities for fundings and second waves of okay. Yeah, that's why they send the second and third waves. Okay.
And next,
they just keep getting funded.
There's a stakeholder announcement. USDA seeks applications for technical assistance and training grants. Again, the USDA is seeking applications for technical assistance and training grants. And again, all this information will be posted in the form. And last from the updates is USDA makes $7.5 million in technical advance and training grants available for disaster recovery. So anyone that's in the area that has been labeled a disaster, they have just released $7.5 million in technical assistance and training grants that's available right now for disaster area recovery. And that's this Rising's updates from the USDA.
Thank you.
Shout out to the USDA just shouting us out. Giving us these opportunities. Oh, and other programs as well.
I mean, how the panel feel about what we went over this Rising so far with opportunity zones? I mean, what's your take on it? The good, the bad, the possibilities?
The fact that it's called opportunity zones. Sounds like opportunity to me.
I mean, what's your take on it, No Sellout?
They don't look like Indians to me, my friend. That's what it sounded like she was saying.
You trying to get it?
Okay, I mean, so I just like the fact that it's stated in some areas of when you write about, or when they're writing about opportunity zones, that it's pretty much them just moving billions of dollars into low income communities, and that's like not heard of because low income communities don't have billions of dollars. So yeah, I think it'll serve and add value. So rather than to take values away from the community, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. And like she said, opportunity. I don't even know what that word means anymore if it don't mean opportunity. I mean, it's in the word of the program. I mean, it's in the program words. It's opportunity zones. Not we gonna hold you up zones.
You know, and I agree. I mean, again, what's better than having an opportunity for us to get together, form cooperative groups, corporations, and pool our money together to invest in our own community. I mean, isn't outside forces pooling their money together against your community? So wouldn't it make sense that a good defense would be to take our income and combine it to rebuild and protect our communities, especially knowing that we are the largest consumer group on the planet? That what we spend a year makes us what? The 9th to 8th richest group on the planet? That we spend more money than other countries? And I'm talking about the so-called African American. The so-called mislabeled African American spends more money annually than countries. What? Just last year we was 9th on the list. We probably bumped up to 8th. So that's what I'm saying, 8th or 9th.
Bruh.
I mean, so again, we have the income. It's just we are so quick to spend it on things that don't benefit us or depreciate value. Immediately
depreciating value.
And we take this hard come income and you give it to the companies that's financing against you, to the companies that are betting against you. So I say again, brothers and sisters, what happens when we put our companies in a situation to be the companies that's financing the growth in our communities? When we put ourselves in a situation so our children are the benefits of the net profits from our investments in our communities. I mean, who better knows what your community needs than the people of the community? Who better know what the struggles are than the people that had to come through it already? They had to deal with it day to day, from childhood to teenagers to young adults to grown men and women. I mean, if we don't do it, who else is? You see what everybody else's plan is. Love it or hate it. If they're spending their money, that's their interest for them to decide how and who they want to benefit. The answer isn't to get mad. It isn't to yell and scream, tear things down. And to me, I could be wrong. This is just to me. The answer to me is to organize and do the same. But what we do different, we make sure that we have our best interests in mind, that we design these institutions again, and these funds and these organizations to do exactly that. Take care of the community now and then. It may be me, maybe I'm confused, but that's all I keep seeing for every program we come across, that there's really no excuse or no reason why we can't get it done. And then it explains to me why certain entities will tell our communities, don't vote. Certain entities will tell our communities, don't participate in the census. But then when you take the time out to do your own diligent research, you come to find out voting not only every 4 years, but every 2 years every year locally plays a major impact on your day-to-day life. That participating in the census, the annual census, local census, state census, federal census, benefits in your future. Because we already see once they do the census, that's where they get the numbers on how they're going to allocate resources and funding for what community needs for the next 10 years. So think about if one generation, a major percentage of us don't participate like people are counting on for this year's census. Then for the next 10 years when we don't have access to resources, who is to blame? Who should we be mad at? I mean, really.
That's not a tough question.
If we don't participate in the local elections and you get governors and congressmen and senators who put in policies in that's not in your best interest, who should we be mad at again? I mean, no matter how you want to slice it, how you want to look at it, it comes back to us, brothers and sisters. It comes back to our choice. And as a whole, we have to make better choices as a community. We have to have our best interests in mind when we sit down at the table and make these decisions as a community, not as individuals, as a community. Because the last 80 years of history shows us what will not be accomplished trying to approach this as an individual. All the individuals in history done burnt out and gone. The ones that you can still see the remnants of are the ones where they organize. And true indeed, a lot of organized got infiltrated. That's when you leave people in charge, because people gonna do what people gonna do. But that's why I say, what happens when we construct our constitutions to where these institutions are designed to do what they are designed to do, no matter who is the individual sitting in any particular seat. And to say it can't be done, that's hogwash. People still watching the NBA, NFL, and every other major sports entity. The military, all these are nonprofit organizations. So it can be done. So again, it falls back on us. I mean, what do we really want? Do we want to scream about change? Or do we want change? Do we want to scream about being heard? Or do we want to be heard? Because the last I checked, begging to be heard, ain't nobody going to hear you. You got to stand up and speak from the chest. Say what you mean and mean what you say and be ready to act on it. And the one thing that history also shows is our actions will speak louder than any words we can ever say, yell, or scream. That history is not going to judge us on what we say, but off of what we do. Again, we all have a choice as individuals and a community. It's our time. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Gabrielle,
I mean,
mighty quiet.
What window you done hopped out of?
Look, she's still.
Well, Double Cousin posted a link.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I ain't posting that.
Cousin fault this time, and
I didn't sit there and make you click it. Might as well.
I mean, Squirrel Turtle, you posted a link. What I am gonna say is this. Wait, see, it better not be a link you posted.
No, that was Copper. That was Copper.
Okay, let me not look. I went through 200 pages.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. You just go both with the link.
Okay, so a link. So, I'll say this. It is more evident. It gets more and more evident every day how making yourself count so that you can count matters. I mean, you've got yet another program, yet another establishment that is based off of the census, not just the 10-year census, but the yearly census. And then elected officials that we elect or don't elect, for that matter, where if we participate or don't participate, where let's just say there's a tract, an area that wasn't elected to be put in an opportunity zone. But that tract, that area is an opportunity zone, but we didn't pay attention. So now that area is left out of what the governor said, hey, these tracts, these areas need to be focused on. So if there was an area that needed to be focused on and we didn't participate and we didn't pay attention, that area gets left out because who notified our elected officials that, hey, we need help over here too. We need opportunity zones here too. We need to be able to invest in the community over here too. So it's just, it's more evident that us participating, us counting, us mattering, if that makes sense. It's important. It's important to participate. It's important to get actively involved, not just on a local level within just your city, but within your state. Because obviously who we elect as city council, it matters. Who we elect as governors, it matters. Who we elect and who we don't elect, how we participate, it makes a difference. It affects what's happening around us or what's not happening around us. Either way, there is a cause and effect to everything. I don't see anything wrong with voting. I don't see anything wrong with census. If doing the census, whether it's the 10-year or the 1-year or the 5-year dealing with farming, if it brings in more revenue, more funding to build up an area, my area, someone else's area, to build up an area so that the quality of life can be better, why not be for it? Why not participate in it? Why not participate in, even if it's participating in a program that's already established, even if it's participating in a community garden and assisting with expanding it to another area? I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm seeing nothing but benefits and pros and positiveness coming from it. Like, oh, doing the census, oh, okay, so me making myself count makes me count, but also the people around me count. Me, just the participation and having a knowing on what changes are coming about, what's being paid attention to, what's not, what's being recognized as needing help, and what areas are not. I mean, I don't see the issue. I don't see the issue with knowing and participating. And I mean, if anybody's saying, no, don't do this, don't participate in that, to me, it's going to make me question, well, why not? What are your reasons for saying don't participate in the census to get funding? Don't participate in the voting to see who's actually representing you. What are your reasons behind saying don't participate, don't do this? This is just me.
Then Carpet just dropped some very important information. There's 8,760 opportunity zones. Again, there's 8,760 opportunity zones.
I just screenshotted a whole rack of them for Virginia and in my area as well. So
all right, I'm going over to the link. Let me pull it up. I was trying to avoid it.
My city, Copper City. TMH's daughter city is on here. Stop playing. Y'all play too much. Shout out to VA. Richmond is on here. Pamela Hall, where you at? Run, come celebrate. Yeah, buddy.
I mean, again, proof showing that if we choose to, that we can do this.
We can do it.
Sure can.
I mean, yeah, not only can we do it, these are opportunities. These are areas where we can incite change. You know, someone asks, "Hey, how'd you do that?" Well, let me tell you. Hey, where'd you go to do this? Well, let me tell you.
Sit down and we'll tell you. Eat up and we'll talk about it. You better check your burger for that spicy pepper when somebody tell you that.
Well, look at it this way. Isn't it tax season right now? So a lot of our people that are business owners and individuals, we can take these net gains, if we choose to, start a fund and invest right back in our community.
Correct.
And that's a form of sweat equity for these other programs that that people are interested in getting started in their community, because you're already making an investment in the improvement of your community. Then you can show in your proposal what you can accomplish with these grants and loans to even do more to affect positive change in your community. Again, there's many different ways you can attack this. There's many different starting points.
Again,
I mean, if there's nothing else, we can go ahead and let everyone go about their day. I know a lot of people want to click into these links and see what they can get started on.
True that, do that.
True do that. All right, salivations.
It's on you, Gabby.
Okay. Continue on your genealogical journey. Know who you are so that no one can tell you who you are. Saying that and reading today's stuff. Yeah, you got to know who you are on so many different levels, so that no one can tell you who you are on so many different levels. So yeah, continue on your genealogical journey. It is important. Know who you are so that no one can tell you who you are. Census, April 1st. Census is coming up. Of course, even with the census coming up, the 10-year census coming up April 1st, it's still going to be the yearly ACS census that will happen every year within that 10-year window of the U.S. Census. So, yeah, make yourself count so that you count. Peace to the panel, peace to the chat, and peace to the silent majority. We definitely can do it. There's programs, incentives for incentives. Focused on the community, focused on building up the community, quality of life, just betterment, entrepreneurship and all, training, education, business. It's there. These are government websites that are like, hey, funding for your thoughts. So with that being said, Double Cousin, shout out to you for these wise words. Success is where preparation and opportunity meet. And again, this has been said before, but even a record burns a needle. Opportunity are usually disguised as hard work, so most people don't recognize them. As you grow older, you will discover that you have two hands, one for helping yourself, the other for helping others. Today is not just another day. It's new opportunity, another chance, a new beginning. Embrace it. Most people miss great opportunities because of their misperception of time. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. We don't get unlimited chances to have the things we want. Nothing is worse than missing an opportunity that could have changed your life. Accept change. Analyze the landscape. Take the opportunities. Stop being the chess piece. Become the player. It's your move. Today is an opportunity to get better. Don't waste it. And last but not least, business opportunities are like buses. There's always another one coming.
But are they padded businesses like the buses that keep coming? That's what I would like to know.
Keep your mind open to opportunities. They are closer than you think. And lastly, most do not understand the wonderful opportunities life gives until they look back at their life. That one I like because there's a saying that always sticks with me. An old fool used to be a young fool. So, yeah, opportunities are always there. There are programs for programs for programs, opportunities for opportunities for opportunities. There is success out there. There are options out there. And, yeah, shout out to
How will 2020 census data be used?
Best show. Piece to the panel, piece to the chat.
How will 2020 census data be used?
All right. What you got for him, no sellout?
Nothing, because apparently I might belch live. And then wait 15 minutes and hear about it. All right. I would like to thank the panel for bringing another Great Grand Rising show. Appreciate you guys. Sorry for being late. Peace to the chat. Sorry for belching. Man, if y'all got any questions, comments, concerns, or corrections, please email us at attentionistsembly@gmail.com, especially if you have any questions. You can also call the number. It's up there on the screen. It should be, at least. I'm not on the screen right now. And if not, it's been said numerous times, you can check the past shows to get the number. Call us. We'll be on the line most likely. Think about the Indian not being taxed or enumerated. Just think about it. Think about that. And think about your family while you're thinking about that. But yeah, check out these programs, man. They all listed on the website, attentionistsembly@gmail.com. attentionistsembly@gmail.com is the email. Hit us up. Peace, y'all.
All right. Thanks again, Gabrielle and No Sellout, for the work you put in on another Great Grand Rising show. Also, would like to thank the active chat and the silent majority, because all parties coming together is what it takes to make this possible. And again, gonna keep it short but brief. Another show informing of programs that we can access right now. Not a year from now, not 2 years from now, right now. And I'm gonna keep saying it, what perfect timing. I mean, for a lot of us who own our own businesses and corporations, for a lot of us who are receiving tax returns that make gains, we have an opportunity to turn around and invest said gains in our community to make a profit for the community, to invest back into our communities. So the question again is, what are we going to do? I mean, it can be business as usual to where we allow ourselves to get brushed to the back of the line, or we can decide that we're going to take our place and we're going to take on the responsibility of maintaining our culture, our lifestyle, our present, and our future. I mean, it shows, and even history shows, the only thing that slows us down is us. Is that wasting the time on the drama, the he say, she say, who first, second, and third, is going nowhere. Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result, that is the definition of insanity. I mean, what lies before us is a real opportunity, a real chance to leave our mark on history. The opportunity for this generation to define how we will be remembered in history, to define what our time that was given to us was spent doing. That again, it is our choice. We are the drivers behind the wheel of our future. The problem is for years we didn't know it. Now we do. Are we still going to allow the vehicle to go off the cliff? Or are we going to grab this wheel and apply to this map of programs and resources and walkthroughs on how we can rebuild ourselves, how we can leave our great marks in history, our reminders to our future generations that any time that they feel low or feel like the world is against them and they can't make it, they can look back in history and see that their great-grandparents, just like ours before us, made a conscious choice to stop accepting the status quo and stand up and take on responsibility and do for ourselves for a better generation. So continue to do the work in your communities. Continue to keep working on genealogy. Continue to keep working to find out what you can do, involving yourself in local government so we can have better communities, so we can have a brighter future for our future generations. So till we link up again to the next Rising Show, remember we love you and peace.
Peace, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
Excuse me. Peace, y'all.
Oh, wait, Bones, I got one more.
You're always doing that.
Yes.
You'll like this one. I thought of you when I saw this one.
What if he
Men
hated
and
you?
women make history, not the other way around. In periods where there are no leadership, society stands still. Progress occurs when courageous, skillful leaders seize the opportunity to change things for the better. Greatness is your potential. Action is your opportunity. That's it.
She talking about you. I'm pointing at you.
I was like, oh, that's Bones.
Oh, I was talking about everybody. They're all leaders, all y'all. If y'all step up and
Yeah,
take
don't put no
advantage,
titles
man.
on me. I'm just a person doing my part. I'm just a person doing my part.
Did you see Bones back into that big, tall green hedge there behind him?
Right.
He just Homer Simpsoned your whole quote.
Yeah,
He's like,
I know,
wait a minute.
Yeah, that's in general. Okay.
But yeah, that's in there. I got it. I hear what you're saying. I got you.
Never
But
mind.
it does. No, it does. It's reminiscent of Bones.
I
That's
still
how
got
you.
Bones is how dare we going through my mind.
Of course.
Yeah, how dare? Yeah, it keeps going through like, ooh.
Look, every time they say it stays around for about a week.
Yeah.
I get enough phone calls as it is already.
Yeah,
he's
how
like,
dare we? I'd be like, ooh, okay.
mayoral candidate. Like, no, man.
Still dodging a ticket.
He was like,
And it ain't a speed
sir,
one at that.
Exactly. Look, yeah, we're not talking about no speeding tickets. You know, we pay those fines just like regular citizens.
Absolutely. It feels good.
I'm not playing with y'all.
It
Bye, y'all. See y'all later.
I don't care what nobody say. That thing feels good.
All right, y'all. Peace, y'all.
Here you go.
How will 2020 census data be used? Where there are more people, there are more needs for public services. That's why the census is used by the government to inform funding decisions each year. But that's not all. It's also used by nonprofits to inform services, by businesses to create jobs, and even by students for school projects. Understanding how the population changes helps us shape communities across the country for the better. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
How does the 2020 census affect representation? There are 435 seats in the House of Representatives. These get distributed to the 50 states by population, and an accurate census response helps your state get the right amount of seats. States with smaller populations get at least one, while states with larger populations might get more. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.